Hey guys, it's Ironwolf here, and today I'll be talking about the next video in my Hyrule Conquest build order series, and that's about the Zora Dominion. The Zora are a faction that originally I'd believed to be, pretty weak. However, after a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot, of experimenting and testing in, uh, single player matches and multiplayer matches, I've discovered that they're actually, they're actually pretty good. They have a lot of really good things going for them, if you're doing the right build. They're very difficult, in my opinion. They're one of the more difficult factions in the game. So this build order is very universal. It applies to most matchups. The only thing that really changes is your starting hero will be determined based off of what faction you are fighting against. So, for example, if I'm fighting, uh, let me think, not the like if I'm fighting the Gorons, I would want to go with Zaleen because I'll need the extra healing because the Goron defenses do a bunch of extra damage. If I'm in the what's it called, the Zora mirror match, I will want to go with Ruto because Ruto gives really good resistance to magic, and both Zora players are gonna be using a lot of magic. But with most of the other matchups, you're gonna be going with Talara. The Zora King, he's not very strong in my opinion, but at least that's just from what I've tested in this build and other strategies I've tried doing with this faction. I have found that the Zora King isn't that useful. So as with my past videos, I'll leave a description, or I'll leave a link in the description to a text-based version of this build, as well as a replay of this match, and my previous build videos, if you're interested. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so right off the bat here, we pick our hero. We're getting 5 servants. These servants are going to be going onto the stone right here. Our starting workers, let me pause this. Our starting workers are going to be going over here and building a fishery. And then right after that, they're going onto the bushes. Our starting soldiers are going over here and also building a fishery. And they're going to be building a couple other structures as soon as they're done. So you see here they get started on that fishery. So these are the buildings that you're going to want to build as soon as you with your soldiers as soon as they're done with this. They're going to build a depository right next to the stone. Then they're going to go build a commune. Then they're going to go build another depository over by the ore. So now that we've got our 2 communes going up, or about to be going up, we're going to queue up these buildings, and those soldiers are going to go work on this. And then we're going to start producing more servants, about 6, to go on these fisheries. You're going to need 3 on this one and 3 on this one. So you see here, I've got one out already, going on that fishery. Those workers working on the stone there. Soldiers putting up this depository. The reason you put the depository next to the stone and next to the ore is so that there is very little travel time between gathering the resource and dropping it off. It's just a more efficient way to gather resources. You see here we got 3 workers on the fishery right here. Gonna start getting 3 more on this one. This faction is one of the more passive factions in the game for sure. So unlike in my previous builds, in this build you're actually be building a good bit of towers and defenses. But they are still very strong. You're going to want to tech really early with this faction so that you can get access to your mages. The Zora's mages are really, really strong. So the sooner you can tech up, the sooner you can get your mage chambers up, and the sooner you can get your mages out. So at this point, I like to, like you see here, I like to build, after I get my 6 workers out on the fisheries, I like to build another one and add them to my my building group with these workers. Just so I can have a servant in there just, to make things like build quicker, and so I don't have to have another worker in the group in order to build things, because soldiers can only build those like walls and towers and things like that. But at this point, as soon as we have the resources, we're going to be building 5 servants. So you see here, we only need 10 more. 5 servants coming out. These servants are going to be going onto the ore. You're going to need to gather a lot of ore with this faction. It's a very important resource to have. Food is good and materials are good, but you'll be gathering those really fast, so they're not that big of a concern. You'll always have like for the most part, you'll have a surplus of them, but ore you are going to be constantly needing. So after the building team is done building that last depository, I like to put them on the ore. And so at this point, a little before 3 minutes, the 3 minute mark hits, you're going to want to start saving for your tech. Let's look at these resources. You see here, we've got a lot of materials and food. We're going to start saving for our tech up to tier 2. And at this point, you're just going to want to chill. You're not going to be building anything or training any units. You're just going to be saving and waiting until you can tech up. But once you do, you're going to start building and training some more things. See there? At about 3 minutes 30 seconds, well, 3 minutes 35 seconds, you probably can get this down to 3 minutes and the 20 seconds if you're super fast with your micro and stuff like that. But I'm bad, so. But as soon as this goes off, you're gonna want to train 5 more servants right here, as soon as you get the chance. You see that tech goes off. Your building team's gonna go over here and build a commune. You don't have to follow this base layout exactly, but just make sure that you have your depositories near your resources, and you just have all these buildings. So you see here, as soon as we had the resources, we're building another group of 5 servants right here. After the commune goes up, I'm putting these building team workers back on the ore. 5 workers coming out. As soon as you have the resources, you're going to want to get another 5 workers. As you see here, these ones are also going on the ore. So we're going to have 15 on the ore right here. And at this point, we're going to start saving for our mage chambers. So once we hit 400 ore, we'll already have the material, so that's not that much of a concern. But as soon as we have 400 ore, we're going to have our building team build a mage chambers. Those 5 come out. As soon as those ones come out, I like to have my building team go on like the rupees for a little while. Just because it's not much, but it's something until we have 400 ore. Let's see, what am I at right now? 318. So as soon as we hit 400, we're gonna get that up. Also, I'm sorry if I keep cutting off in the middle of my sentences. I've had a really bad case of the hiccups the last couple days, and it's still sticking with me. So please bear with me. As you see there, as soon as we got to 400 ore, it's levers, man. Levers are so annoying to deal with. But anyway, like I was saying, as soon as we hit 400 ore, we're gonna get the mage chambers going up. As soon as the mage chambers are done, you're going to have your building team build 3 communes, or 3 houses. As soon as the mage chambers goes up, I accidentally trained spark mages right here, but you're going to want to get sapphire wardens. You're going to want to mass as many sapphire wardens and river patrollers as you can for this build. You can get a lot of those out, trust me, especially if you're getting wardens out this soon. Yeah, you see there, I've replaced the spark mages with the wardens. So you see here, I'm getting a group of river patrollers. You're going to want to be building constantly, just building groups of 5 wardens and patrollers. Just wardens, patrollers, wardens, patrollers. Do them at the same time. Just get them out. You need to get out as many as you can, as soon as possible. So here, see here the building team building 3 houses. So right here, I have these workers. As soon as they're done getting the bushes, I'm going to have them gather that lever first. But once they're done, I'm going to have them build another fishery. And since there's 4 workers that have finished gathering the, whatchamacallit, the bushes, and you can only have 3 workers on a fishery, I usually have 3 build the fishery, and one of them go join the building team, just so you know we have another unit in our building team. So you can do another group of river patrollers right here after you get your first one out, but it's completely up to you whether or not you want to go with hero and then another group, or another group and then your hero. It's completely up to you. See here, still training these wardens. I like to put them on the rupees because, you know, they're not doing anything, so they might as well. So your building team is going to want to start building some aqueducts because you're going to need to expand your territory. So right around here, I build, you know, between 70 to 100 ores worth of aqueduct because it's not spending too many resources that you're going to be spending on patrollers and wardens, and it gives you a good amount of territory to build off of. So you're not going to need too many aqueducts because most of the Zora bases are going to be pretty compact, but you know, you're still going to need some to expand and whatnot. So you got these wardens out. Such a cool unit. I love this unit. It's so cool. So strong too, very strong. See, we're building another group right away. Trust me when I say this, you will have the food to keep making these groups. This faction gathers so much food, it's crazy. The ore is another question. You're gonna be pumping out. You're gonna be producing a bunch of ore, but at the same time you're gonna be spending it right away because you can be building because so many of their buildings require ore, as well as their units. Like both the river patrollers and the wardens need ore, so it's a little rough. But don't worry, I'm sure you'll push through. So at this point, I usually like to have my patrollers build a tower. The reason for this being, you're gonna need some defenses because this faction is, like I said earlier, a lot more passive, and their defenses are very, very strong. This crystal tower is a very good defensive structure. So here, I like to have them, you know, just help with these aqueducts, you know, get things moving a little faster. It doesn't hurt, so, you know, you might as well. You see I got my hero coming out here. Talar, this is a very good hero. If you're facing, you know, any faction that's not the Gorons or a Zora mirror. Still producing more patrollers and wardens. So at this point, with your building team, once the aqueduct is done or about to be done, you're going to build 2 more towers, as you see there. Still producing troops, of course. Such a good defensive structure. It's very expensive, but it's very worth. Trust me. Trust me when I say that it's very worth. You are going to need it, especially if you're fighting Kokiri or the Goma or just any rushing, anybody that likes to rush. Having these extra patrollers out is really handy for building things really fast, trust me. Got some more wardens about to come out, more patrollers. I don't think I had the resources. Okay, no, I do. But you're going to want to be constantly building groups of these and groups of the wardens. So at this point, of course, you're still producing wardens and patrollers. You're going to want to have your building team right here, as you see, build 2 communes and another tower. You're going to need that population if you're still pumping these units out. It's going to be really handy. And of course, you know, more towers is always a nice thing to have. So yeah, that's pretty much the Zora's build order in a nutshell. This is very standard, like I said, across most factions. These towers are very good against, like I said earlier, rushing and aggressive factions, but they can also, do some damage themselves. As you see at this point, I've got about what is that? 15 river patrollers, 10 wardens. It's really good. Still producing more. Close to about, the 12 or 13 minute mark, I should have a pretty big army, and I can, go attack my opponent. Uh, I think I do attack my opponent really soon here. But as far as the build order is concerned, this is pretty much where it's over. I built another aqueduct over here just because I need to expand a little bit more. You could do that completely up to you. But at this point, you can start branching out and doing your own thing. This is the standard part. Let me speed it up to show you guys when I attack them. I think I attacked them after I get this group out. Yeah, you see here, got a pretty big army for it being 13 minutes into the game. Let me slow it down now. Alright. So here we got a pretty big army. 25 patrollers, 15 wardens. That's really good for, this early in the game. Still producing more, of course. As I said, you should always be producing more constantly. And then there's very little my opponent can do at this point, other than, their defeat is inevitable. But yeah, so this is pretty much the Zora in a nutshell. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video so far. I thought this one would take a little bit longer to make, but it didn't. So I'm glad I was able to push it out soon. I will make a straw poll and post it in my Discord, of course, of whether or not you guys want me to make the Goma or the Gorons after this one. So just let me know and join that Discord for sure. It'll be linked in the description. And I really appreciate y'all's support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.